At Thanksgiving, my sister Jenna raised her wine glass and declared I was no longer family, and everyone in the room applauded. But they stopped laughing when I pulled out a manila folder and laid every debt, every sacrifice, every betrayal on the table. That Thanksgiving, I didn't just walk away. I started writing my own story. It all started when I got a message from my sister. I've read the message 4 times now. Erica, you're hosting again, right? I thumb type a slow reply. Can't this year. No paid time off left. And groceries are brutal right now. And hit send. 2 minutes later, a reply lands with the speed of resentment. Then what do you contribute? A second later, my brother Rick posts a dumpster fire gif. I don't answer. Just leave it on read. Now it's Thursday. Thanksgiving. I'm sitting at the edge of the dining room table in Mom's 2-story colonial, shoulders rigid, hands tucked between my knees like I'm 10 years old again, waiting for a report card talk. The air smells like boxed wine and reheated green beans. The stuffing is drying on the table. It's Jenna who clinks her glass first. I have an announcement, she says, standing tall in a gauzy camel sweater that probably cost 3 days of my grocery budget. We've voted, Jenna declares. Her smile gleams like a knife. And Erica's no longer family. Actual applause breaks out. My brother Rick howls laughing. Mom chuckles, covering her mouth with the cloth napkin I folded earlier that afternoon. Oh, come on, it's just a little Thanksgiving fun, she says, eyes darting around the table. No one looks at me, except Darlene, Mom, who offers a pity smile like I'm the family dog who peed on the rug. My throat closes. I've said nothing. Not when Jenna posted that passive-aggressive Instagram story about ungrateful sisters. Not when Rick's car loan bounced, and I was the one left arguing with my credit union. Not even when I Venmo'd $4,800 for Jenna's wedding florist last year, because her fiancé's check bounced like a rubber ball. But now, under the flickering light of a dusty chandelier, and the sound of cheap crystal clinking together, something inside me hardens. I reach into my tote bag, fingers trembling. My hand brushes the thick manila folder I packed last night. On instinct, not a plan. I pull it out slowly. The chatter continues until I drop it on the table with a sharp, satisfying slap. What's that? Jenna sneers. I breathe in through my nose. Receipts. Jenna blinks. Rick actually stops chewing. Receipts for what? I open the folder. Pull out the first sheet. A Venmo screenshot. $4,800. For your wedding, I say, voice steady. Remember when you said I was the only one you could trust? The second page. A Zelle transfer. $5,400. Mom, mortgage, March. Jenna laughs, but it falters. Rick leans forward. I flip to the third. A car loan agreement with my signature. Rick, your ride. You ghosted me for 3 weeks after missing 2 payments. Mom's mouth is a thin line. Darlene looks like she's about to say something but doesn't. Her lips stay pressed together, eyes flicking between me and the folder. You brought this today? Jenna's voice is shrill now. You forced me to, I say quietly. You made me prove I existed. They stare. No one claps now. I rise, tug on my coat. Happy Thanksgiving, I say, voice like glass. Rick mutters, you're being dramatic. I pause at the doorway. My voice drops low. You voted me out. Just remember, family isn't a group project. It's what you uphold when no one's watching. I walk out into the brittle November cold, heart pounding in my chest, like a drum. Behind me, someone calls my name, but I don't turn back. A notification buzzes on my phone as I reach my car. Bank of Lexington, authorization removed for cosigner Erica Bell. Loan closed. I exhale for the first time all night. The cold sticks to my skin longer than I expect. It's been 5 days since I walked out of that dining room, but my shoulders still haven't unclenched. Every morning since, I wake up hoping for silence, and it delivers. Not a single call. Not a single apology. Just digital quiet. The kind that hums like a fridge in a dark kitchen. I log into my bank app again. 3rd time today. Recent transactions. Mortgage transfer. $5,400. March 3rd. Venmo. $4,800. April 22nd. Auto loan payment. $600. May 1st. Total out. $10,800. I stare at the numbers like they'll rearrange themselves into something more palatable. Like $10,800. wasn't just siphoned from my salary at the public library, where I make $44,200 a year before taxes. Back in April, Jenna called crying about the florist. "We're literally going to have a flowerless wedding. I can't let that happen. You're the only one I trust, Erica." I Venmo'd her within the hour. She didn't even send a heart emoji back, just left it on read like a debt collector. On my phone, our last text thread reads, "Jenna, $4.8 thousand. I'll pay you back ASAP. You saved the day 2 hearts. Me, take your time." That was 223 days ago. I scroll further back, past photos of centerpieces, dress fittings, brunches I wasn't invited to. One shows her laughing in a vineyard, glass in hand, captioned, "Married life tastes like rosé and relief." No mention of who paid for the roses. It's not that I needed recognition. I didn't do it for that. I just wanted to be seen. My therapist says I have a helper pattern, that I equate value with utility. She's right. I've always been the fixer, the floater, the one who shows up early and leaves last, the one who fills in the financial potholes and gets no roadside sign. Last night, I found the invoice again, Jenna's Florist, Bloom and Reverie. Subtotal, $4,650. Rush delivery fee, $150. Total, $4,800. Status paid. Erica Bell personal card. I remember sitting on my couch that night, watching reruns of Midsummer Murders, legs tucked under me, sipping boxed wine out of a chipped mug. I clicked the submit payment button and felt proud, briefly, like I'd protected something sacred. Now I just feel used. The ache behind my eyes has settled into something duller. Not rage, just erosion, like a shoreline worn down by years of tides. I glance at the manila folder, still sitting on my desk. I left it open after Thanksgiving. Pages splayed like a crime scene. I wonder what Jenna's doing now. Probably posting curated leftovers, #thankful, #chosen family. I think about texting her, then delete the thought. Instead, I open my laptop and start a new document. At the top, I type, "Contributions, Erica Bell, Jenna's wedding florist, $4,800 mom's mortgage arrears, $5,400 Rick's auto loan, co-signed, $1,200 hit to credit groceries, 2022-2023 family dinners, $3,000 Airbnb cleaning, after family visits, $, total $15,200 plus I save the file, just in case." My phone buzzes at 6:41 a.m., jerking me awake with that specific dread reserved for early texts. "Mom, call me when you're up. Nothing urgent. Just want to talk." I stare at the message, heart thumping like I just sprinted. Nothing urgent. Her code for, "You've embarrassed us." She hasn't called in weeks. Not since the vote. I turn the phone over and press it to the mattress. The ceiling fan whirs, slicing the silence into neat little pieces. My chest feels like it's wrapped in bungee cords. I make coffee, sit at my kitchen table in my threadbare robe. I can't make myself hit call, but I can scroll. I check my email, my work schedule, my online library portal. Then I open the car loan app. Rick, 2 missed payments still on record. Account status, at risk past due. $1,200, co-signer Erica Bell. I click through the fine print again. I've read this so many times I could quote it. Co-signer assumes full responsibility in event of default. Rick texted SRY lol the first time the notice came. Then, nothing. Just 3 weeks of ghost town. The lump in my throat rises. I swallow hard. Back in July, Rick had called. "It's just until I get my hours up again. Lift's been slow. You know how it is, I just need help getting approved." I did know how it was. I'd been working Saturdays at the library circulation desk for months to make ends meet, earning an extra $350 a month to chip away at the credit card debt from last year's family barbecue, also mine to fund. I co-signed anyway. "Thank you, sis. You're the only one who believes in me," he said, voice thick with charm. That familiar weapon. I remember standing in the dealership parking lot, sweat running down my back. It was 92 degrees, and he wore a hoodie, said he was manifesting abundance. Now I'm manifesting his overdue bill. I log into my credit monitoring app. Score 677 last month, 711. That 34-point drop cost me the low interest rate on a new renter's insurance plan. Another $19.87 per month I now lose because I believed in him. The screen goes blurry. I blink, breath catching. Not tears, just that brittle pressure in my sinuses, like my face is packed with too much unsaid. I open a new tab. Type. How to remove yourself as a cosigner on a car loan. Most results say the same thing. Hard to do, unless the borrower refinances. Which Rick won't. He can't. His credit's worse than mine. Still, I fill out the contact form. I type my name, the loan number, the make and model. Then I hit submit. It's something. Back in my inbox, a new message appears. Subject, RE, will update confirmation. From Lexington Public Library Foundation. Dear Erica Bell, we've processed your updated beneficiary form. Thank you for your continued support and generosity. My fingers tighten around the coffee mug. I stare at the line. My name's on something now. I lean back and let out a slow, shaky breath. My shoulders sink an inch lower. A ding. Jenna, you really went nuclear with that folder stunt, huh? Scene 7:24 a.m. No follow-up. No apology. Just that. I don't reply. Instead, I text the one person I haven't yet cut off. Erica. Hey, Dr. Sharma. Can I add 30 minutes to Thursday's session? Something I need to say out loud. The radiator in my apartment ticks like it's counting down to something. It's been 12 days since Thanksgiving. Still no calls. No visit. Not even a passive-aggressive meme from Rick, which should feel like peace, but instead feels like waiting for a shoe to drop, one that's duct-taped and decades old. Thursday at 4:05 p.m., I sit across from Dr. Sharma, fingers twitching against the seam of my jeans. Her office smells like cinnamon tea, and faintly of antiseptic. She waits, patient as ever. I've got a number in my head, I say finally. 15,200, that's how much I've floated them. Her eyebrows rise slightly. I nod. Not estimated. Actual. I added receipts, transfers, gas money for hospital trips, groceries for dinners I wasn't even thanked for. And how long have you been keeping track? She asks. Since the florist, I say. Jenna's wedding, April 22nd last year. She was crying. I'd just gotten off an 8-hour shift. I paid the invoice while reheating instant noodles. My throat tightens. I stare at the bookshelf behind her, not meeting her eyes. It's like I was the family credit line, and when I declined one charge, just one, they cut me off. She doesn't interrupt, just lets the silence breathe. When Rick missed his second car payment, I didn't even yell. I texted, "Are you okay?" and he said, "SRY, LOL." That was it. I rubbed the heel of my palm against my chest. Mom called me in March, sobbing, 3 months behind on the mortgage. Said don't tell your siblings, they wouldn't understand. I wired $5,400 in 20 minutes. I look up at her now. I didn't tell anyone, not even you, because I thought maybe, if I just kept showing up, they'd see me, like actually see me. Dr. Sharma leans forward, her voice calm. And do they see you now? I almost laugh. They saw the folder. In my tote bag, it's still there, dog-eared, half-organized chaos, a museum of debt and misplaced trust. That night, I go home and open the manila folder on the kitchen counter. One by one, I start scanning each paper into a single PDF. I name it history.pdf. I back it up twice. Google Drive, external hard drive. At 9:34 p.m., my phone buzzes. Mom, just checking in. Hope you're doing okay. Jenna's stressed, and Rick's been quiet. Maybe we can talk this weekend? I stare at it for a long moment. Then I type back. I'm not available this weekend. I'm working on something for myself. A minute passes. Then another buzz. Mom, you don't have to be cold, Erica. I set the phone face down. Because I'm not being cold. I'm finally warming up to my own life. I wash the dishes slowly. The water stings my hands. It's too hot, but I let it burn a little. I like the way it makes me feel real. Then I sit down and pull up an email I saved from last month. Intro to Ceramics, Community Center Class, December 12th start. I click Register. $135 for 6 weeks. I enter my card info. My palms sweat a little. I hit Submit. Confirmation appears. A receipt dings in my inbox. For once, a payment just for me. My thumbs ache from gripping clay too tightly. It's week 2 of the ceramics class, and I'm still terrible. My bowl looks like a collapsing hat, but when I pull my hands away and see the clay wobble in its own defiance, I smile for the first time in days. I like the tilt, our instructor Cass says kindly. It's honest. I nod, wiping sweat from my upper lip with the back of my wrist. My apron is streaked with gray. My nails are ruined. I've never felt more quietly alive. After class, I sit in my car and scroll my texts. Still nothing from Jenna. Rick is silent too. The last message from Mom was 2 days ago. Just wanted to say, I miss our talks. Things feel different lately. She still doesn't say sorry. I tap open my budgeting app. I've updated it with new categories. Therapy, $85 per week. Ceramics, $135 total. Future fund, $50 per month. Under family, there's a 0. At work, I cover for 2 sick coworkers and clock 46 hours this week. My legs throb by Thursday. Patrons at the library don't care about boundaries, only late fees and printer jams, but it feels good to be useful on my terms. On Friday, my manager hands me an envelope. Erica, you have time off carryover you're about to lose. Use it or it disappears. I blink. How much? 3 days, expires end of year. 3 days. 3 days not spent in someone else's kitchen or driving Rick to court for a parking ticket. 3 days I can reclaim. That night I book an Airbnb cabin 90 minutes out. $209 for 2 nights in January. Quiet, snowy, and alone. Confirmation received. Then, the weekend lands like a stone. Sunday afternoon, I open Instagram. Jenna posted again. A photo of her and Rick on Mom's porch, wine glasses in hand. Caption: when you cut out negativity, even the air tastes better wine. #chosen family, #peace. I stare at it for a full minute. Then scroll down. Rick commented, "We thrive in cool fire." My jaw tightens. I don't screenshot it. I don't share it. I just close the app and slide the phone under the couch cushion. They're painting me as the villain. That night, I pull out the ceramic bowl, one brought home. It's misshapen, glazed in sky blue and muddy brown, and drying slow on the windowsill. I flip it over and scratch a date into the bottom. EB 12/10, because someday I'll forget the numbers. $4,800, $5,400, $1,200. But I won't forget how it felt to make something that didn't cost me. The silence on my voicemail feels curated. It's been 17 days since Thanksgiving, and every sound that comes from my phone now is either work-related or a robocall. Not a peep from Jenna, Rick, or even Mom since her guilt text last week. But last night, I got a notification. Voicemail, you have one new message. From Darlene Bell. I don't listen to it right away. I let it sit like raw meat on a counter, waiting to see if it spoils or softens. When I finally press play, her voice is strained. Erica, it's your mother. I just want you to know I never agreed with how they said things. I thought it was a joke. Maybe we took it too far. I'm not saying what happened was right, but we're family. And Jenna's having a hard time now. Just call me. Click. I replay it twice, parsing every excuse. I never agreed. I thought it was a joke. Jenna's having a hard time. Not once. I'm sorry. At the library, I help a teenager find a book on scholarships. He thanks me like I handed him a lifeline. My throat tightens at that. At lunch, I eat a microwaved soup and stare at the history.pdf on my phone. It's grown. I added the Airbnb cleaning fees from family visits. $135 here, $220 there. Totals up to $15,795. And that's before interest. I text Dr. Sharma. Is there such a thing as emotional bookkeeping? She replies in minutes. Yes, and you're finally balancing your ledgers. Saturday night, I get a knock on my apartment door. I freeze. Through the peephole, Rick. Hoodie, hands in his pockets, fake sheepish expression that I've seen 100 times. I don't open it. I speak through the door. What do you want? His voice muffled. Can we talk? No? Come on, E. Mom said you might. I said no. My hands tremble, but I don't unlock the door. You missed payments. You ghosted me. You laughed while they voted me out. A pause. It was a joke. It cost me $1,200 and 34 credit points. I hear him shift his weight. Okay, yeah, I messed up, but I need the loan to stay active, or I can't drive. My stomach twists. I take a deep breath. I already pulled my authorization. It's done. Silence. Are you serious? I warned the bank last week. They're contacting you for transfer. You'll need a new co-signer. He mutters something I don't catch. Then footsteps. Then gone. I sit on the floor, breathe in, breathe out. Sunday, I spend 2 hours at the ceramic studio. I glaze a second bowl, smoother this time. Firmer. I press a line into the base with my thumb and carve 2 words beneath the date. Not yours. That night, I get one more text. Jenna, can you call Mom? She's been crying all day. Thanks. No punctuation, no greeting. I reply, tell her I said hi. Then I mute the thread. The calendar on my fridge reads December 21st. I circle the date twice, red Sharpie carving deep. It's the winter solstice, longest night of the year, and it feels right. I've blocked Jenna. I've blocked Rick. Mom is muted, her messages stacking like unread junk mail. I am alone in the healthiest way I've ever been. Today, I use my last PTO. No work, no email, no debt disguised as family. Instead, I take the folder, now labeled Bell Ledger, and drop it into a donation box at the library's archive room. My supervisor raises an eyebrow. Personal documents? I smile faintly. It's historical fiction. She chuckles and wheels it away on a cart. At home, I light a candle. One I've been saving, orange clove. It fills the room with the kind of warmth that doesn't ask for anything back. Then I open my laptop. Subject, Final Will and Testament. Erica Bell recipient, Lexington Public Library Foundation body. To whom it may concern, please find attached my notarized document confirming my decision to leave all physical and financial assets to the foundation. I believe in literacy, public access, and second chances. This is where my legacy belongs. Attachment, will.pdf status. Sent. Done. I close the browser. My hands feel cold but steady. That night, while the city sleeps under frost, I receive a single message on Venmo. From Jenna. Request, $75. Your share of stuffing and wine. Slightly smiling face. I stare at it for a second. Then tap, decline. Another notification follows. This one a comment from Rick on the same post Jenna shared last month. Erica bin Wilden. Family's just trying to vibe and she went full spreadsheet. He added laughing emojis. Something in me clicks. I open my tote bag. Inside, one last printout of the Bell Ledger. I slip it into a new folder. Bright red, tab labeled, Exhibit. The next day, I drive to Mom's house. Not to reconcile, to deliver. The colonial looks exactly as I remember it. Trimmed hedges, wreath on the door, Airbnb signpost crooked at the base of the driveway. I walk up and knock once. Jenna opens it. Eyes wide. What the? I hand her the red folder. This is everything. Rick appears behind her, hoodie and attitude intact. What's this? Receipts again? No, I say. Just a reminder. I step back before anyone can speak again. At the curb, I pause long enough to watch Darlene come into view. She stares at me from the doorway, mouth slightly open. Then I get in my car and drive. At a red light, my phone buzzes. Mom. Erica, why would you print this all? I reply. Because I'm done being invisible. The stuffing's cold. The wine's cheap. My hands shake under the table. We're at Mom's house again, 2 days before Christmas, for some half-hearted, let's mend this dinner, Darlene scheduled via group text. I said I wouldn't come. But then I did. Not for them, for me. I'm seated at the far end of the dining table like a guest in my own bloodline. Jenna toasts with her glass. To chosen family, she says with a smirk. The ones who show up. The others chuckle. Rick clinks his beer against hers. Darlene gives a weary smile, eyes not meeting mine. I've had enough. I reach down, unzip my tote, and pull out the red folder. The room quiets. I drop it onto the table. The slap of it echoes louder than any toast. What's that now? Rick says, chewing through a crescent roll. I flip the cover back. Neatly arranged tabs divide every section. A full accounting. Annotated. First, The florist invoice. Then Mom's mortgage wire. Rick's loan. Grocery receipts. Airbnb cleaning service contracts. Everything. Jenna blinks. You brought this to dinner? Darlene puts down her fork. Erica, you said I don't contribute, I say, standing. My knees tremble, but my voice doesn't. You all laughed, voted me out, toasted to it. So here's what I contributed. $4,800 for wedding flowers, $5,400 to save Mom's house, $1,200 from Rick's missed payments, now on my credit, groceries for 10 dinners, Airbnb cleanings, gas, emotional labor. Rick leans back. Okay, now you're just listing facts? I cut in. Yeah, I am. Jenna's voice turns sharp. So you printed everything? Like a psycho? Everything, I say. I look at Mom. Even the will. She pales. I slide the final page across the table. It's stamped, notarized, with my signature at the bottom. All physical and financial assets to be transferred to the Lexington Public Library Foundation. Rick coughs, suddenly awake. Darlene's mouth opens, then closes. Jenna grabs the paper and scans it, color draining from her cheeks. You're leaving everything to a library? I've always belonged there, I say. Unlike here. A stunned silence spreads like fog. I'm not angry, I add. Just done. Darlene's whisper cuts the air. My God. No one speaks. No one touches their wine. Even Jenna is frozen, the page shaking slightly in her hand. I gather my bag, my folder, my breath, and I walk out. Behind me, the house stays quiet. The cold outside feels almost warm compared to the silence I left behind. It's been 6 days since the dinner. No texts, no calls, just digital echoes. I keep expecting backlash, a Facebook post, some guilt-laced email chain, but nothing. It's as if my truth stunned them mute. Until this morning, I'm at the ceramic studio, glazing my third bowl, a low, wide shape with a soft edge, when my phone buzzes against the counter. From Jenna, you humiliated us. Hope you're proud. Seconds later, another. Rick, why'd you have to make it public? You could have just talked to us. And finally, Mom, I can't believe you went this far. Your sister hasn't stopped crying. What kind of daughter does this? I set the phone down. I don't reply. Not because I can't. Because I don't need to. By noon, I'm back at work. A stack of donation receipts waits at the front desk. At the top of the pile, an envelope with my name. Inside is a thank you card. Handwritten. Dear Erica, thank you for your extraordinary generosity. Your contribution will fund our children's reading nook renovation and 2 adult literacy programs next quarter. We are honored to steward your legacy, the Lexington Public Library Foundation. I exhale slowly. My chest feels light, not proud, just unburdened. At lunch, I check my Venmo one last time. Jenna's request is gone. Cancelled. But a new one appears. From Rick. Request, $80 January car insurance. Just until I get back on track. Full score. I stare at it. Then I don't decline. I block him. That evening I post one thing to my private story, visible to only 5 people. A photo of my newest ceramic bowl. Pale blue. Asymmetrical. Caption, shaping things that only hold what I choose. 10 minutes later, I get a reaction from Dr. Sharma. A single emoji. Hooray! And from Cass, the ceramics instructor. This one's your best yet. That night I sleep with my window cracked open. No playlist, no fan, just air. And quiet. The kiln buzzes quietly behind me, like a low hum of approval. It's Saturday morning, 2 days before the new year, and I'm standing in the community center's tiny gallery space. 5 shelves line the wall. My bowls, each lopsided, imperfect, uniquely mine, sit in quiet rows, tags handwritten in neat lowercase letters. Someone walks past, pauses, and picks one up. This one feels like it has a story, she says. I nod. It does. No explanation, no context, just truth in the clay. Behind me, the door swings open. Cold air brushes my back. Darlene steps inside. She's wearing her nurse's coat, face drawn, eyes tired, in a way that's not physical. She doesn't approach right away, just studies the pieces like any other visitor. I didn't know you were doing this, she says eventually. I didn't either, I reply. A pause. I read the will again, she adds softly. I didn't realize how much you'd carried. I don't respond. I just wait. I still think you went too far, she says, but her voice wavers. But I understand why. My palms press flat against the table. I didn't do it to punish anyone. I did it to stop disappearing. Darlene blinks, and for the first time in a long while, she doesn't look like Jenna's defense attorney. She just looks like my mother, smaller somehow. I can't fix what they did, or what I didn't stop, she murmurs. No, I say, but you can stop pretending none of it happened. She nods, eyes glassy. Then, she slips something onto the table and walks out, without another word. It's a Polaroid. Thanksgiving. Maybe 5 years ago. Jenna in the center, Rick holding a beer, Mom smiling. And off to the side, me, half-cropped, holding a plate of rolls. I leave it on the table. Some stories don't need retelling. Back at my apartment, I open my inbox. A new email from the foundation. We've installed your donor plaque today. If you'd like to visit in the new year, we'd love to show you. I smile. Not for validation, for closure. That night, I throw out the last of the Bell Ledger folder. Not as revenge. Not even as release. Just because I don't need to archive evidence anymore. January 1st, I wake early. Open my laptop. Register for a spring ceramics course. Intermediate level. The form asks, preferred name for name tag? I type it in carefully. Erica. Nothing more. Nothing less.